are you?
I am Alex Kapranos of Franz Ferdinand.
And Alex, who else is in Franz Ferdinand? Who is here today?
Well, maybe they should introduce themselves. This is Julian.
Hello, I'm Julian in Franz Ferdinand. Yeah.
And this is Dino.
Hi, I'm Dino, also in Franz Ferdinand.
And of course, you know Bob.
Hello, I'm Bob.
From Franz
Ferdinand.
And right off the bat, I have a gift for you. Alex and Franz Ferdinand.
You never
a Scotland 7-inch from 1974.
Oh, the Scotland World Cups. Did we win that year? I can't remember.
Yeah. We had a very good team that year. I think we must have won.
I don't think you won that year.
No, are you sure?
You were undefeated.
we
78 we won.
Oh, yeah,
Was it?
yeah,
I think it was 78.
I can't remember the last time we won, but it can't have been that long ago.
And feel the center of that 45.
It feels quite unplayed, doesn't it?
Amazing. But what can you say? The Scotland World Cup squad, they have the song, Scotland, Scotland.
And that's the B-side. I mean, that's a very appropriate name, isn't it? Yeah.
And then also Easy Easy, an amazing tune.
Easy. Oh, do you know it?
I think I do know that one. It's not quite up to the standard of Ali's Tartan Army from 78, but good. It's a good tune.
What I was thinking is, were you guys ever approached to do a World Cup tune?
We actually wrote one once. Do you remember?
We weren't asked to. We did it off our own bat. Yeah.
Could you explain about that? You thought you could create a World Cup song in 2006?
Not sure it was exactly my idea. It was 2004. Was Scotland in the World Cup in 2004?
I don't think Scotland.
Euros.
No. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the Euros. Yeah.
Oh, they were in the Euros.
Yeah.
And so we came up with a thing in soundcheck.
It had one word in the whole song. Guess what the word was?
Actually, what was the word?
I don't know, but I'm going to.
No, what can you guess?
Guess football.
No. Well,
guess Scotland.
Yes, exactly. But we were beaten to it. They doubled it there. Yeah. See, they should have thought of that. Damn, that's probably why they lost that year.
But you ended up on a FIFA game.
Oh yes, I believe we did. Yeah, aye, that's right.
Was that Lucid Dreams?
I don't know.
No, it was Take Me Out.
Oh, right, okay, right.
So, pretty soon after the band formed, or at least, got established, you got in FIFA. So you kind of got, so maybe is there possible for, this is a gift for you, for friends, for some inspiration. Is it possible that this could inspire a song in the future?
Maybe we should revive the old one. Maybe we should write a new one. Maybe that would help.
Like Greece.
Yes.
Might be a better one.
They might have. Maybe we can like have the same tune, and how some bands will release things in different languages for different countries. We can do. Yeah.
What would a Franz Ferdinand Greece tune sound like in 2025?
I think it would only have one word in it. Can you guess the words?
Ba-boom.
Maybe it would only have one instrument. Can you guess the instrument?
Bagpipes.
And we're still talking to Franz
Ferdinand.
And right off the bat, I have another gift for you, a Glasgow Street Songs record.
Cool.
And this is from 1960 because you're into streets, like discovering the oldest street in Glasgow.
The oldest street in Glasgow, the High Street?
No, don't.
Is this a quiz?
I'm not sure, but during the pandemic, then you go looking for some.
Oh no, I spent a lot of time with local history. Well, I was looking for Bronze Age settlements, which maybe predate this. But yes, I was. I did spend a long time. And the oldest stonework is an art. It was like a particular arch under a bridge called the Bridge of Sighs. So I went to have a look at that. Yeah.
Because I thought Glasgow Street Songs. The connection. You were going to say something, Alex?
Aye, this is really funny. Jimmy McGregor, Robin Hall and Jimmy McGregor, they were like famous folk musicians, like part of the folk revival of the late 50s and early 60s. Jimmy McGregor's still alive, and he recently sold off all his guitars, and I bought one of his guitars. So I've actually got the guitar that might well be playing on this record.
Which one is Jimmy? The second one?
I think that's Jimmy there.
So you don't have that guitar?
No, that's a Gibson. The other one's a Martin. But it might be played on this record for all you know. That's crazy, isn't it? Yeah.
Glasgow Street Song.
Yeah, that's a really nice record. That's very cool.
Yeah, thank you.
A Downbeat magazine from 1962 with
With Coltrane and Eric Dolphy Very nice.
Jazz, because you're into that, aren't you?
I'm somewhat into jazz. I started out when I started playing keys and piano. I started out as a jazzer, and but I didn't really have the chops for it, so I just kind of gave up. But
Franz Ferdinand.
I walked into that, didn't I? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, a big fan of Coltrane and Dolphy, so that's great. That's really cool.
So that's like a vintage mag.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And no pictures of bagpipes, because you're into putting bagpipes on the new record, right?
I was really keen to put bagpipes on a particular song.
On Cats.
On Cats, yeah, because it has a riff in it that, to my ears, sounded a bit bagpipey. However, it was overruled. But we.
How does a Franz Ferdinand song get overruled?
I never even heard about the bagpipe idea, so I would have been. I would have been
up for that.
Yeah.
There is.
I did hear about it.
There is kazoo on the record, though, Nardwuar.
Oh, yes, there is.
We did put some kazoo on it. So
Have bagpipes ever been overruled before?
Not by AC/DC or Paul McCartney.
But people have got it confused because you've said like in past, like people have tried to like flatter you with bagpipes, but they've got the wrong bagpipers on stage.
That's true. We once did some gigs with Green Day, and so as a very nice send up off for the last gig, they arranged a surprise for us and got a pipe band, but it was an Irish pipe band, which is it's a totally different country. Like it's close, but it's not the same thing.
It was quite hard to keep it a secret when there's a whole like pipe band warming up at the side of the stage. Like, what they're here for? But yeah.
What do you think? What was coming?
A pipe band.
I mean, they're weapons. They're like instruments of war, aren't they? So you're not. Yeah.
And for this new record, the white keys, they were quite important. The white keys.
I love the white keys on the keyboard.
The piano.
It's true. Like, so I'm like, Julian is an incredible pianist. Like, he's very, very talented. I am very thuggish on the piano. And one of the songs, Audacious, I tried. It was an experiment just to see if I could write it as simply as possible, just on the white keys of the keyboard. And yeah, that's how it came about.
Did it work?
Yeah, it certainly did. Yeah, I mean, it's good for me because I don't have to think about any of the black keys. I use 50% of my brain. So
yes. Well, actually, it's not. I did have to put a black one in there because it didn't sound right on just the white keys. So yeah, the experiment failed.
One snuck in. Yeah.
Whereabouts is the black key?
It is F sharp, just at the end of the first verse.
Yes, it is.
What do you think about F sharp? Is that like an obvious one to play? Or?
F sharp minor is one of my favorite keys to write a song in.
Songs have been in F sharp minor.
Darts of Pleasure's in F sharp minor. There was another one I was playing the other day, Evil and a Heathen, which we played the other day. That's in F sharp minor. It's kind of like, I think I like it because not many guitar songs are written in that key, so it immediately sounds unusual, which is cool.
On this new record, Bob, there's a bass line going back to 95?
Yeah, I mean, that predates me. I was even born in 95. I guess it must have been left over from something Alex was working on in the 90s.
What was that? Amazing, you kept that.
Yeah, no, it was just kicking about in my head.
Like the ultimate riff, right, wasn't it?
It was just so we were doing this song, Tell Me I Should Stay, and I was trying to work out what the groove should be for it, and then this bass line popped into my head, which I'd written in 1995,
A ska-tinge bass line?
It could well have been. It could well have been. I don't know if it was necessarily written for that particular band, but it might be. Yeah, the Amphetamines was started in 1995, so that's probably around about the time it came from.
So, but does Alex keep these ideas like for years?
Apparently, that's stuff that's inside his brain.
Yeah. We don't. We just, it comes out and we're like, oh, that's good.
Yeah.
But that's amazing. Like so long, he's kept that idea.
Yeah. No.
Like, has he kept that as a secret from you?
He kept it a secret from himself for a while. But yeah, I think that's quite common with musicians. I was talking to, name dropping, I was talking to Johnny Marr, and he said that back in the day, he's a guitarist in the Smiths, back in the day, he would when he went into rehearsals with bands, he'd feel the pressure to come up with a riff on the spot. So he'd sit at home coming up with banks of them. So that whenever he arrived, he'd be like, oh, what about this? And he'd play something, and they'd all think it was off the top of his head. But so yeah, I think it's quite a common thing.
You said for the early gigs, sometimes you were late.
Do you mean with my playing?
Yeah.
Quite possibly. I'd have been the last to know. So.
Didn't you once say like you were 2 kind of beats behind a beat?
That has happened a couple of times early on when I would, something, I don't know what would happen, some kind of like shift in the space-time continuum. And
last night in this fire, we bit.
I think so.
Something very odd happened in this fire for a moment.
I don't remember. Something did happen years ago at a festival, quite a big festival somewhere in like Germany or something, and I got out of sync in this fire, and it was like, I don't know how to get back in here. So I just had to stop, and then the kind of like the band that you counted me in. I was so embarrassed about it, and then I went on the internet. I saw someone saying like it was really cool. They were like jamming in this fire, and like the bass pulled out, and it was great. And I was like, yeah, got away with it.
But, when you do that, you're doing stuff. Does anybody say anything to you? Like you were behind the beat or whatever. It's like, is there any face? Like,
but yeah, no. Paul was good at giving faces. Like, I was like, what am I doing? But yeah.
What about you, Alex? When you were playing with like an orchestra, I saw like a huge. Do you have any signs to them? Like wrong.
Yeah, we did have a big discussion with them beforehand. They were really cool. Actually, it was the first time we'd ever done anything like that, and we just talked through how we wanted it to sound, and it was quite surreal, wasn't it? Like talking to the first violinist about how the lead line for Toxic should sound.
Yeah. That was such one of my favorite ever sessions. It was so good. What a privilege to do that.
What did they say? Like what was their reaction? Or they're just professionals, right?
I guess I haven't had a lot of interaction with that kind of musician before, and I thought they might be a bit a bit stuck up, but they weren't at all. They were great. They were really cool.
Did you know it was Britney Spears?
Yeah. No. They knew the tune. They knew our tunes as well. Like, and they were really into it. I think they liked it because it was quite upbeat. I think normally when people get an orchestra in, it's usually something quite sludgy and overly romantic, and I think they quite enjoyed the energy of the songs.
What does everybody play? I don't think we went through that. Like, could you introduce like what everybody plays?
Sure, yeah. Well, Audrey plays the drums. I sing and play guitar. Julian plays everything, actually. Julian sings, plays keys, guitar. Dino plays guitar, does a little bit of singing, and Bob plays the bass.
So here we are at Neptoon Records, and one of the first interviews I did at Neptoon, at least on video, was with Hot Heat, as I mentioned. And Neptoon Records is in the news lately. Rob, come on over from Neptoon Records. This is Rob from Neptoon Records.
Hello, Rob. How you doing? Yeah, good to see you again. Yeah, we've met many times before. Yeah.
But now, recently, you've been in the news with the tape. Maybe, Alex, you wonder about the tape, right?
I'm kind of a little bit in awe that I'm standing here right beside Rob and that tape. It's a pretty incredible artifact that he's got in his hands right there.
It's
a Beatles artifact.
Yeah. Well, maybe Rob should explain.
It's not the original box that the tape came in, but it's the box that's been stored in since like the late 60s. Yeah, so this is the actual tape right here. Wow. And it's got 15 songs, and it's the early audition the Beatles did at Decca Records.
That's totally. Do you know what's incredible? Just looking at it as well, you can see that it's not a copy because you can see the stripes in between, which means it's bits of leader tape connecting the different recordings, which is incredible. I mean, a lot of this must never have been heard by people publicly, right?
Well, there's been bootlegs of this before, but never the quality of this. This is like when we discovered it, I just thought it was like a tape of a bunch of bootleg records on a reel-to-reel. I put it on, and it was like, no, this is a real thing. This is a tape.
Well, how did you discover it?
Well, I was going to the studio to transfer some tapes for a project I'm working on, a bunch of old Vancouver bands from the 60s. And so we've had this sitting in our store for 5 or 10 years. And I just ran into it like 2 days before, and I thought, I should take it with me and just see what's on it. after all those years. It's just a total fluke. And even when we transferred all the other stuff, it was like late at night, and I said, I'm not going to bother. We'll do it another time. And the other guy said, let's just hear what's on it. So we put it on there. We're like, oh my God, what is this? This is not a record. This is something else. And then it felt like the Beatles were in the studio with us.
Wow.
It was that clear.
That's incredible.
It was unreal.
Does it say the client, the Beatles, on the sleeve there?
It says, it says on here, it just said Beatles 1960 with a question mark, demo tape.
Wow.
And that's all it said. Wow. And it had Beatles on the edge. Yeah. So, but it turned out it was a guy that owned a studio in Vancouver and a record label in the 60s. He owned this actual studio that this is on, this Canbase. He went to England to, I think, shop some of their products, of their tunes, to see if they get distribution over there. And he went to Decca Records. From what we've sort of pieced together, I think he knew the producer that was there, who was originally American, as this guy was originally American. And I think they actually knew each other. And I think that he gave them the tape to bootleg it.
Wow. Okay, what's amazing about this as well is this is the tape that the Beatles were rejected for.
That's very
So they went into Decca to.
Yeah.
The first song is like incredible. It's like they're like a punk band, but from January 1962. Like it's absolutely incredible. There's some really hokey songs as well, but there's some amazing songs on it.
So how many songs are there?
15.
15. That's so cool.
Anything that ended up as a Beatles song?
Yes, there's Shout, I think, is the one that they used. And there's a couple of songs that Lennon and McCartney wrote that were given to other artists in England to record.
Okay, right. Yeah. That's cool. And if I'm right, it's Pete Best that's playing drums on this.
That's right.
Yeah,
it was before Ringo joined, 8 months before he joined or something like that.
That's amazing.
And on this, there's some extra stuff, isn't there? Like a couple notes and background noises?
Yeah, there's
that people haven't heard.
There's bootlegs that have been put out. And on this one, there's some little bit, it's just a small amount, like 4 seconds of something. And my friend Doug, who was with me when we did this, transferred it. He's the one that's been sort of researching it, and he's found these little subtle things that aren't on bootlegs that are on this. So that's really exciting. We're still sort of reeling and trying to figure this out. So it's pretty cool.
And you said it's a copy, but maybe it isn't a copy, Alex, because apparently there's a splice.
Well, yeah, that's the thing that's interesting, like looking at it, seeing the leader tape in between. If you're making a copy of a reel, it would just be one continuous set of tape, whereas this is spliced together.
There's even more than that. There's actually a splice in here where they've obviously fixed something. But it's the original splice tape is on this, and it's on the early recordings of it, like the bootlegs that are out there. So why would they splice this tape if it's just a copy?
Right. Okay. So that's the original.
That's another thing that we've discovered. And there was one more thing. I think there's a little extra bass line of Paul at the end of one song. I can't actually remember all of them, but my friend Doug has been researching it, and he also discovered that some real expert on Beatles stuff said that they think that the original tape is not there anymore. It's gone, and what they have is like a safety master. Okay. So that's what makes me think it's a possibility this actually could be the original master. Yeah. But that's just wishful thinking on my part.
I don't. Why would if they were making a copy? Why would they put like splice tape in between?
Yeah.
Well, exactly.
It doesn't make sense. It's got to be the original. That's insane.
It seems like it because the tape is old. It's a 60s tape, and the spool is really old as well. So, yeah, like the early 70s stuff when people would be bootlegging those things, you have to bake them and stuff because the tape wasn't the same. It wasn't as good.
Right. Okay.
So that you put the thing on, and the thing would start to stuff would come off the tape. Yeah. So and the guy that the engineer Larry who transferred it for me, he could tell just from his experience. He's done it his whole life, and he says, "No, this tape is from the '60s,
and it's better quality than what you would get in the '70s." Okay, interesting.
Yeah. What are you going to do with it?
Well, did you ever see that Paul Simon movie where he gets rid of the tape and he throws it down the street and it unravels? No, we're not going to do that. We're going to. I've offered it to give it to Paul if he wants it. That's cool. For free.
Yeah.
But we'll see if he wants it. If he doesn't, then then
Maybe
we'll decide.
maybe he's still bitter about the rejection.
Maybe, or my kids could buy a house with it.
Rob also has recently gotten a huge collection from a UK DJ, right?
That's right, of 45s. Yeah, he was a DJ in Wales, I think early 60s to early 70s, maybe even late 50s. Bought.
Wow.
45. Yeah.
And as soon as this interview is over, we'll let you go wild.
Hey,
and look at that collection.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
And you can have a look at some of the rare 45, the promo 45s afterwards, and we'll let you loose on those and maybe document what you find.
That'd be really cool. Yeah, I'm very excited to see the 45s. That's cool.
Well, thanks so much, Rob, and doot doot loot doo.
Doot doot.
This is Alex Kapranos of The Future here in Paris, France, interrupting this interview to let you know that Rob did, in fact, meet up with Paul and give him back the tape. The two of them hung out together, became pals, and, well, became an example to us all that sometimes it works out to be a good guy. Now, back to the past. Thanks for showing me the records, Rob. These are the ones that I picked out. I'm a big Lee Perry fan, and I'd never heard that before. It's a record called The Result by The Upsetters on a label I've never seen before, Punch Records. That was cool. I picked this one out because I did a cover of it the other day. I was in a French radio station and they asked me to play a song on my acoustic guitar. And I think it's my favourite Neil Young song, Needle and the Damage Done. And it's a promo copy, which is cool. And then this, again, what I love is when you find a collection like this, is just going through and seeing things and not knowing what the hell it is, and then just having a listen. And quite often it's, fine. But then occasionally you get something like, oh, that's cool. That doesn't really sound like anything I know. And there's this band here, I'd never heard of them before, called White Mule. I tried looking them up on Google. There wasn't really much about them there. This song, Looking Through Cat's Eyes, which is quite an evocative title. And it's a cool song. Like, it's quite a moody song. Yeah, I like that. And this is one of my all-time favorite reggae songs ever recorded. 5446 was my number, by Toots and the Maytals. And when I was in the Amphetamines, we used to cover that song. So I'm very happy to have that on single. And here's another classic that lots of people will have already, but that's Louie Louie by the Kingsmen. And I can't wait to play that for my son because he's going to love it. And that's another classic, Love Her Madly by The Doors. I don't have any Doors singles, so I thought, I should probably get one. And this one here was another great discovery, a band I'd never heard of before. A band on Decca, so a little bit like all related to the Beatles demo that we were listening to earlier. Obviously, after they failed to sign the Beatles and they were so successful, they tried to sign every beat group that they possibly could. So there were all these really great beat records that came out on Decca in the early 60s. And this is a band called the Beezers. You can see there. I'd never heard it before. We had to listen to it just now, and it sounds great. It's really cool. And then finally another Decca record. This is an early single. Oh no, it's actually a mid-70s single. I might give this to Dino, because Dino is a big prog fan. This is a band called Camel. Yeah, Flight of the Snow Goose. It's a cool kind of 70s prog track. But the funny thing about this is the Moog on this was played by a guy called Jan Shellhouse, and he sold me his Moog. And so that's the Moog that's on the latest Franz Ferdinand record is also on this record as well. And that's a lovely little connection, isn't it? Hey, records, they're good.
And I have a gift for you, some Smokey.
Oh, from Bradford.
Yeah, who also recorded at?
Did they record at Rack?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
What can you say about Smokey?
Smokey, a band from Bradford, which is in Yorkshire, where I'm from. And the singer, I think he was a singer, used to own a vintage clothes shop, which was next to Bradford College, where I did my art foundation. And he looked like, he dressed like he was in the 70s rock band all the time in Bradford. And And so it was like one of the most famous person I'd ever met, to be honest, when I was a teenager. I can't remember which one it is.
There's an amazing photo on the back of them in boots.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, this is Bradford.
Often looks.
This is standard Bradford clothing for the 70s. Yeah, a lot of skiing. Thank you. I'll listen to it every night.
And I was curious, though, what can you say about this band right here, the Kaisers?
This is a brilliant record. This is a band called the Kaisers. In the early 90s, I used to put on bands in a place called the 13th Note on Glassford Street in Glasgow. The Kaisers were a band from Edinburgh who had a residency for a month or so. George Miller, who's the lead singer, he'd been in a few other bands before as well, like mainly sort of rock and roll bands and stuff, but basically they kind of sounded like Hamburg era Beatles. Very, very
like
raw.
the tape that Rob showed.
Yes, exactly like that kind of era. And if you see like the way that they dress as well, it's pretty much exactly how the Beatles would have been around about that sort of time. And this was recorded in Torag Studios as well. Would have been one of the first records that was ever recorded in Torag. And, you know, like a lot of the songs would have been similar sort of things that the Beatles would have done. Like they've got things like Love Potion No. 9 and Money. But also George is a great songwriter as well. So I think things like Alligator Twist. Yeah, he wrote a couple of these as well. But yeah, a great record. Really, really
and
cool.
it's still going. They're still going.
Yes, yeah, they are. They've kind of gone through different iterations. But yeah, I know they are still. In fact, George has this record has a connection with our last record as well, because George, the singer, came down to my studio in Scotland to give me some advice on how to redo the acoustics for the room. So there you go.
Oh, that
was
it.
Yeah, that's George.
That's
there.
really cool.
Bob mentioned, was Real Thing released? It actually was released, yes, on a Busy Doing Nothing record, which also came with a calendar. And remember, Alex, you contributed to the calendar. There are some photos. I thought it was really interesting, like you mentioned, the Dead Kennedys too in there. How do you get into them? How do you get into the Minutemen or Dead Kennedys?
Well, okay.
Were you into Morrissey before the Dead Kennedys and Minutemen?
Yeah, I was into the Smiths before. I guess the Smiths were all around about me when I was a kid. You know, the Smiths were on top of the pops and things, so everybody knew about them. I got into those two other bands in different ways. The Dead Kennedys, I was in Tower Records in Glasgow some point when I was a teenager, and I saw the cover for Fresh Fruit for Rotten Vegetables and just thought, that looks cool. And I just bought it. I didn't know anything about them. I just bought the record, and I remember taking it home and playing it and going, wow, this is amazing. You know, like but the Minutemen, I didn't discover like that. It was actually through a friend of mine, a guy called Hubby, who also goes under the name R.M. Hubbard. That would have been when I was about 19 and I was putting on bands in the 13th Note. Hubby did a cover of Felt Like a Gringo, the Minutemen song, and I was like, afterwards like, that song's amazing, when did you write that? He's like, oh, I didn't write it, it was the Minutemen that wrote it. But yeah, he had a band called Me, Hubby and Tom at the time, who were a brilliant band as well.
2004 is when Franz Ferdinand took the Evaporators on tour. Thank you for 2 dates, and one of them was in Roseland in New York City.
Roseland Ballroom, yeah.
And I always mention this to you, but who was on the guest list plus one? We had Lou Reed was on the guest list, but who was his plus one?
No, it's the other way around. Lou Reed was the plus one. Okay. Like we didn't know he was coming. The guy on the guest list was David Bowie, and it was actually a plus two. It was
Anthony and the Johnsons.
Yes, it was Lou Reed, and he brought along Anthony from Anthony and the Johnsons as well. Because you were in the dressing room when he came back as well, weren't
No, you? I was out in the crowd looking for a place to sleep that night.
Oh, no. You should have asked Lou, man. Like, he had a spare room.
Like, I missed them. I missed that. Like, what happened? They went into your dressing room. Like, what happened?
Yeah.
Like, is that not the ultimate plus one? You know, David Bowie and Lou Reed?
Well, it was bizarre because it was actually the second time he'd come to see us. So we didn't know that Bowie was coming the first time, and we got a knock on. So we'd played the Roseland Ballroom a couple of months earlier. We got this knock on the door, and our tour manager said he got a visitor, and it was David Bowie, and it kind of blew our minds. It was amazing meeting Bowie, and he was very cool. And I remember saying afterwards, we're all just like, whoa, nothing is ever going to top that, ever. There's never going to be somebody coming back after a show. And he did. He topped it a couple of months later by bringing Lou Reed back as his plus one.
What do you remember about that?
They were very nice. Yeah. Yeah, it was. We didn't get a photograph because we were just playing it too cool. But
I thought you got
kind of wish.
I thought there was a video. I thought the BBC went backstage and talked to you guys.
I don't watch that sort of stuff. But yeah, they were lovely. They're very nice, and Bowie was just like very chatty and telling about what he was up to in the daytime. He'd been to the cinema and stuff, and yeah, it was nice. Actually, the Roseland gig as well was Lady Gaga came to that show, but she wasn't famous at that point.
You mean Lady Gaga may have seen the Evaporators?
Possibly, yeah. She was in.
Oh, did. Yes, she would have done. Yeah.
She broke her nose in the mosh pit. Maybe you broke her nose when you were riding your keyboard.
Babu.
Yeah.
Oh, because that was 2004, and she didn't break until a bit later. She didn't get famous.
She was in high school. Yeah. So she was underage. I think she snuck in.
Oh, that was amazing.
Yeah.
How do you find that out?
She talked about it in an interview sometime.
She broke her nose in the pit.
Yeah. She apparently broke her nose at that gig at the Roseland.
Like, I remember being in the audience and looking for a place to stay. Thank you very much, Frank. We stayed at Frank's house. Well, I did eventually find a place to stay. And a kid came up to me and said, is Mr. Ferdinand on yet? They thought you were Mr. Ferdinand, yeah.
Yeah, that happened quite a lot when we first came to North America. There would be two dressing rooms. There would be one for Franz Ferdinand and one for his band.
A Baboom.
Bada Boom, yeah.
And what about Cricket Bat?
That was a nickname we gave to an individual, a man who worked at a record label.
So there's the film Spinal Tap. So there's the guy who's the parody of a music industry character who's the band manager, and this individual who worked for a certain record label was a parody of somebody from the music industry in a similar way. So we used to call him Cricket Bat. Because the guy from Spinal Tap used to carry a cricket bat. What was it? That's the line, like, purely as a form of affectation.
What did you think about, you joining Franz Ferdinand, like Alex writing about food? What is like being on tour and eating with Alex?
I don't eat with them that often because I'm quite vegetarian. So,
whereas Julian's a total carnivore, so we do eat quite often.
We do eat together. Yeah. I think food is probably eating on tour is probably one of my favourite things to do. I mean, eating in general is one of my favourite things to do.
Do you want to tell people about your breakfast that you had?
We had a breakfast in Seattle, but it was brunch. It was a jazz brunch, which is
it was breakfast time.
Yeah,
I mean it was breakfast.
It was breakfast, and we had a little voucher, and you could get
jazz started at 11, and jazz hadn't started.
It was about 9.
It was breakfast. It was 9. Yeah,
I had a voucher and you could get 2 things. It was for a couple, to get breakfast, but each voucher you could get 2 dishes.
So he got a cooked breakfast as his first,
And then I was like, well, I'll get some pasta for lunch. And then this big bowl of pasta turned up. And I was like, do you know what? I think I'm going to eat that as well.
Well, why not?
And it sorted me out. It was great. Pasta for breakfast. I recommend it.
Have you ever eaten too much that you can't play?
I did once. And after that, I never eat before a gig now. Like, I usually don't eat for about 5 hours before a show. In fact, it was in Bradford.
No, it was in Sheffield.
Oh, Sheffield. Sorry.
Yeah, it's similar. It's South Yorkshire.
That's such a faux pas. Will you ever forgive me?
Was it the curry? Was it all that curry?
So it was one of the first tours that we'd ever done, and we were sort of like playing these wee venues, and we turned up in Bradford, and the guy... Oh, sorry, Sheffield. I've done it twice.
Don't know what to say, really.
Yeah.
It's
It's
gonna be a rough gig tonight.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah. No, this chap he said if you're hungry, help yourself to the buffet in the Indian restaurant next door, because the guy owned both places. So we were, like any band starting out, totally skint and were hardly eating at the time. So we stuffed ourselves full of curry. And I remember going on stage, barely able to move and belching curry into the microphone. And I've never had so much stomach pain in my life before as I was trying to get through this set, through the curry. And I learned the lesson, don't eat before a gig, in a very painful way that evening.
Do you remember that? Like, what were you doing on stage at the time?
I was standing very still, but I made myself sick before I went on, so it was a little bit. Yeah, I just couldn't do it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I can't do that. I can't. The idea of wasting all that curry is too much.
Anything else you'd like to say to the people out there at all, Franz Ferdinand?
No, it's just nice to talk to you again, Nardwuar. Really great to see you, man.
Thank you very much. Thanks for all the Franz Ferdinand evaporators, Nardwuar love. I appreciate that. Like giving songs, pointed sticks, etc. I still think that's amazing. Like giving me a song for a compilation and recording in like an hour. It was amazing.
It was really cool. I mean, to be fair, it was only possible because John had everything so set up and was so together in the studio. You know, we just walked in and everything was ready to go. And yeah, he's a great engineer. So that's what made it happen.
Yeah, I think Dave Carswell of Evaporators was there as well. And later John did some tweaking. And John also helped you as well on this tour in Vancouver.
Yeah, he did. Like my guitar was a little bit broken. The frets were worn out and I needed to get them dressed. And John recommended a really great luthier, a guy called Paul here in Vancouver. And he sorted it out. And I played the gig last night and the guitar sounded fantastic. So thanks again, John.
Amazing.
Yeah. But no, you've always been super kind and a great host while we've been here as well. And when I was over with the Cribs, I remember you taking us all around and showing us all over Vancouver, and it was a wonderful experience. So thanks for that, Nardwuar.
Well, thank you very much, Alex. I really appreciate that. Why should people care about Franz Ferdinand? Why should people care?
I think people should listen to the music and then they should make up their own minds whether they care or not. And I think it's the same for all music.
Well, thanks so much, Franz Ferdinand. Keep on rocking in the free world and do.
Cool.